Is who you voted for in the last election actually a science question? Well, howdy everybody, and welcome back over to the lighter side. This video is going out to all my fellow Americans who can't spell colonel and all my fellow teachers who never learned how to Dougie. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the Republican Party and the Democratic Party again. No! I'm afraid so. But instead of just talking about how people think and vote, we're actually going to talk about why people think and vote the way they do. How did you manage to make the most boring topic you could think of even more boring? Full disclosure, everything I'm about to say is courtesy of the brilliant Jonathan Haidt, one of the most unbiased and important psychologists we have in the world today. Most of what I'm going to talk about stems from his 2018 book, The Righteous Mind, Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion. He also has a ton of videos online, TED Talks. Please check them out. That said, I wrote this out, synthesized ideas, condensed a couple of concepts, and added some jokes, yeah! Growing up in a conservative county in a moderate household, watching nothing but liberal comedy in a swing state allows my brother and I to not only agree with Haidt, but hopefully add some insights that makes all this a little bit more digestible for our viewers. But we need to start with a question, a psychological question. Do you feel more responsibility for taking care of the people who live in your own community than you do the rest of the world? I have all day. No, you don't. It's a video. You don't have all day. No, I don't. Never mind. Good point. This question would seem to have a million answers of varying degrees and varying similarities and differences and hedges and all sorts of crap, like on a continuum. But the truth is, most people respond instantly with one of two feelings. Duh, of course I do. Or, of course not. Duh. It's the does that are so alarming. What Haidt's research tells us is that conservative Republicans are more likely to care about the cultural value and well-being of a small, tight-knit community. Which might actually surprise you, as many of the people who always talk about cultural exploration and conservation are liberal. But, we'll talk about them in a second. But that first revelation allows us to get a little bit of an insight on conservative communities. Let's, for instance, take one attribute of the Southern conservative community. Like a cultural attribute. One major cultural attribute is the music, right? Country music means so much to the Southern conservative community and really just the South in general. Country music is beloved for its emphasis on Southern values, Southern hospitality, respect for hard work, chivalry, blue jeans, you get it. That's not a slight, by the way. I love country music. Oh, you love country music from like before 2005. Well, sure, I have taste. That's a slight. Well, I don't know. Zach Brown, Chris Stapleton, Eric Church. They all seem pretty good. All right, that's fair. But can we just, move on from this digression? Yeah. But Haidt's research also explains that liberals score really high on a different measurement. Openness to new or uncertain experiences. Liberals tend to pursue a wider community base, making for a more global approach to life. You'll hear things like, sure, I'm an American, but I'm a citizen of the world first. It's important to flag that neither of these ideas inherently is wrong. You could imagine that over time, countries could become less and less concerned with their individual needs and try to think more globally. That could work. But you can also imagine a future where countries do a good job of taking care of themselves, working together just more in a transactional way, allowing for the individual cultures to regulate themselves. That could also work. What's funny though is the science at play. What our best biological and psychological research tells us is that the person most likely to go backpacking to a foreign culture and spend their days basking in the sunlight of said culture is more socially liberal, tends to be. But the person most likely to stay at home and help create these cultures with their own food, music, traditions, clothing is more socially conservative, tends to be. Whoa, I know, it's actually not that boring. Well, not that boring. I hate you a little bit, and I love you. Let me get to my point. Only social issues can really be broken down like this, which is fine because fiscal conservative, when they invest a lot of money and diversify their portfolios and all of these different things, it doesn't make any, it's not conservative. That's not the right word. Move on from your little word pet peeves, please. Fine. Looking at social issues this way shines a light on our divide, but nowhere is this phenomenon more prevalent than with immigration. If you are pro heavily secured borders, you're not a cruel, money-grabbing conservative. You're somebody who sees value in celebrating a particular culture. That doesn't mean you don't want immigration. You just want immigration where people go through the proper channels and learn how the culture works before they become a part of it. If you're pro-open borders, that doesn't mean you're a hippie, peace and love liberal who thinks the whole world could sustain itself on pixie sticks. It just means that it's impossible for you to look at someone across a border as different. Meaning that allowing an immigrant in the country for free, as people say, seems the same to you as your neighbor who was just born here. You just can't separate the two. What was my point again? I'm a little lost now. We noticed that. That's right, science. The point here is that this research isn't claiming that people are aware of these differences when they act on them. Remember, it's the duh that makes this conversation so scary. Haidt didn't waste his time dissecting a few differences here and there between people in Washington. His work gets at the heart of how people who identify as either Republican or Democrat living in the US act and feel in their world. How the biological mechanics of their brains work. He also looked at the use of these values and obviously found what we should already know. We need both sets of values to thrive. Someone without conservative tendencies won't sustain anything, and therefore can't really build and maintain something they're proud of. Someone without liberal tendencies won't learn new things about the people and world around them. They won't be able to grow as individuals. And honestly, from a purely individual level, most of us get this. We try as best as we can to live a balanced life. But for whatever reason, we cannot figure out that a country and a government needs to operate on the same system of balance. And yes, there are uneducated people on the other side of the aisle who you could lose your mind arguing against. But you could also think of a more likely situation, where the war between Republicans and Democrats is a war waged between smart people, where the war between Republicans and Democrats wages on because each side actually has something valuable to bring to the table. I don't know. It's just a thought. Thanks to Jonathan Haidt for his awesome research. This video does not quote any of his statistics verbatim and merely scratches the surface of the work he's done. None of the examples given are his, and we cannot assume his full agreement. All creative choices were courtesy of lighter entertainment. That's not a thing. Yet. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, get this video out to anyone who wants unbiased takes on the world we live in. We have no interest in changing what you think, just how we all think. Have a great day, everybody.